You ever just feel like you're navigating life without a map? I mean, you're surrounded by all this noise, endless choices, and this constant pressure to just keep moving, and it's so easy to feel a little lost. But what if the guide you've been looking for isn't out there somewhere, but deep inside a framework you might already know? Okay, let's really dive into this. We've all been there, right? Staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., asking these huge questions. They're the big ones, the fundamental questions of just being human. They kind of echo in those quiet moments or when life throws you a curveball. They're really at the heart of our search for meaning, the very core of our journey. So, what if a 7-verse passage, one that's recited daily by millions of people, wasn't just a prayer, but a universal roadmap for the soul? A spiritual compass specifically designed to answer those very questions. We're talking about the Fatiha, the opening of the Quran. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack it as this incredible guide to finding meaning right here in our wild, modern world. So our journey starts with a pretty radical shift in perspective. The Fatiha invites us to, well, reread the entire universe, to see it not as some random chaos, but as a coherent system built on 3 core, totally life-altering principles. The first principle is this profound kind of gratitude called hamd. Now, we usually think of gratitude, the Arabic word is shukr, as a kind of transaction, right? I get something good, so I say thank you. But hamd is totally different. It's a state of being. It's that awe you feel watching a sunset, or the wonder you feel looking at a picture of a distant galaxy, even if you get nothing out of it personally. It's about admiring the perfection that's just built into existence itself. So, where does all this perfection come from? The text calls the source the Lord of the Worlds, or Rabb al-Alamin. And this isn't about some ruler of just one country or one planet. The word for worlds, alamin, actually comes from a root word that means sign. So think about that. From the dance of subatomic particles to the silent spinning of galaxies, every single thing is a sign, a pointer, leading back to one single nurturing source. This idea just dissolves all those artificial lines we draw, race, nation, species, and it fosters this deep sense of universal connection. Okay, so if the universe has a source, what's its nature? This brings us to the second principle, hope. The fundamental law of this universe isn't coldness or fear, but this overwhelming love, and it's expressed in 2 ways. You have Ar-Rahman, which is this universal, unconditional mercy. It's like a flood of sunlight that shines on everyone and everything, no questions asked. And then you have Ar-Rahim, which is a more specific, continuous mercy, a responsive love for those who actively engage with that source, the ones who turn their face toward the sun. And the depth of this love is woven right into the language itself. The root letters for both kinds of mercy, RHM, are the exact same ones used for the Arabic word for the womb, Rahim. So the love of the source is being compared to the most protective, nurturing, and life-giving love we can possibly imagine. It's not some distant force. It's an intimate, sustaining presence. The third foundational principle is responsibility. The text talks about a master of the day of recompense, or Yom ad-Din. Now, the word din is fascinating. Its root, dyn, also means debt. So this isn't just some scary judgment day. It's the day the debt gets settled. The debt of life itself, this incredible, sacred trust we've all been given, is finally accounted for. It's the moment when our actions find their ultimate weight and meaning. And let's be really clear here. The point of this isn't to scare you. It's to establish ultimate hope and justice. It's a profound promise that no good deed is ever overlooked and no injustice is ever forgotten. For an oppressor, yeah, it's a warning. But for the oppressed, for anyone who's ever suffered, it's a guarantee of ultimate victory. It's the critical balance that makes sure our hope in a merciful universe doesn't turn into moral laziness. So once we've kind of recalibrated our worldview with these pillars of gratitude, hope, and responsibility, the Fatiha makes a huge pivot. Observation turns into participation. This is the turning point of the whole journey, a personal commitment, straight from the heart. Right in the middle of this short chapter, there's this dramatic grammatical shift. The first few verses talk about the source in the third person. He is. But then, bam, it suddenly switches to the second person, you. This is the moment we turn and speak directly. It's the move from just thinking about God to actually talking to God, from knowing about to knowing personally. It's the start of a real, intimate dialogue. And what's the very first thing we say in this direct conversation? You alone we worship.
Wow, this is a powerful manifesto of freedom. See, to worship something is to give it the ultimate importance in your life. And this declaration is a conscious choice to break free from being enslaved by all the little gods of the modern world that are constantly demanding our devotion. The endless pursuit of money, the obsession with status, the need for validation through likes and shares, even rigid ideologies. And did you notice something else there? The statement isn't I worship, it's we worship. This is so important. It's this powerful statement against the hyper-individualism of our time. It declares that this journey for meaning isn't some solo mission. When you say this, you're not just speaking for yourself, you're speaking as part of this vast community of seekers, past and present, connecting your own personal struggle to the great shared human story. This one verse reveals a kind of perfect psychological balance. It goes on, and you alone we ask for help. Pairing these two ideas creates this amazing shield. The commitment to worship saves us from apathy, from saying, it's not my problem, but then immediately asking for help saves us from the arrogance of thinking we can do it all ourselves. It's basically the formula for giving your absolute best effort while trusting a power greater than you for the final outcome.
Okay, so we understand the universe, and we've made our personal commitment. The final question is the practical one. How do I actually walk this path every single day? The last part of the Fatiha is a prayer for guidance on these very steps. The prayer is simple. Guide us to the straight path, as Sirat al-Mustaqim. Now, the word Sirat doesn't mean some narrow, winding little trail. It actually suggests a wide, clear, well-paved highway. So this isn't about a rigid set of rules. It's about the art of balance in everything. It's that middle way that avoids the ditches of extremism on either side, in our work, our spending, our emotions, even our beliefs. So what does this highway actually look like? Well, the text defines this by showing us these historical examples. 3 kinds of paths. First, the path we want to be on, the path of those who are blessed. These are the role models of humanity who walked this highway successfully. Then it warns us about 2 dangerous detours. There's the path of those who earned anger, the ones who knew the truth but deliberately rejected it out of pride or selfishness. And finally, the path of those who went astray, the people who may have had good intentions but lost their way through ignorance or by going too extreme. And here's this beautiful, subtle little point of grammar that reveals so much. Just notice the wording. Blessing is an active gift, the path of those you blessed. It comes directly from the source. But anger is described passively, not of those upon whom anger was brought. This implies that divine mercy is inherent and it's actively given, while anger isn't some arbitrary mood of God, but a natural consequence that people bring upon themselves through their own choices and actions. So, we've journeyed through this incredible map, right? We've reread the universe, we've declared our freedom, and we've asked for direction. Now, let's put it all together and see how this becomes a daily practice. You see, the Fatiha isn't just a text to understand. It's a practice to be lived. It gives you a perfect 7-step spiritual reset you can do anytime. You start with gratitude, seeing the perfection around you. Then, you ground yourself in hope, knowing the universe is rooted in love. You acknowledge your responsibility, that your actions matter. You declare your freedom, committing only to the absolute. You find the balance between your effort and your trust. You ask for clear direction. And finally, you seek the wisdom to learn from the past. It's a whole cycle of recentering and reflection. And ultimately, this is the core message. We're often so focused on reaching some destination, happiness, success, enlightenment, that we forget the meaning is actually found in how we walk the path, day by day. A meaningful life isn't a place you arrive at, it's a direction you travel in. And that leaves us with one final, very personal question. We all use something to navigate the chaos of life, our ambitions, our values, our relationships. This has been an explainer of one ancient, really powerful compass. So just take a moment and reflect on your journey through life. What is your compass?